All right, let's start with the right tool for the right job on this. You know, we definitely needed a 3-jaw puller to pull the blades on this. I've had good luck with the General Electrics. The blades usually just pop right off them, but not this one. This one was stuck all the way until the very, very end, which could be bad news. That could speak to other things that are wrong with this machine. I think it might have took a good fall in its life, maybe more than one. I'll show you later what I mean by that. No outward damage, but it's interesting. And when we ran it, it shook like crazy. So we are going to try to get the motor off and apart, oil it the way you do, and you've probably seen that sort of video before, and then get it back together and see how it runs and see how much it shakes. See if we can balance if the blades are out of balance or bent or anything like that. I have another rotor. I have a 50s GE that has electrical problems that never ran. I put it all back together, so we could always use the rotor out of that. It might fit. They're probably fairly standard all the way through the run. So provided it fits in the bearings and these bearings don't have any excessive wear, this doesn't have any real up and down, a little in and out, but doesn't seem to have any up and down play. The only thing I will say is Rusty Bob. When we rebuilt Rusty Bob, I had a trouble. That was part of that was on me because I let it fall out of a window. Really stupid. But another thing I noticed before I ran it, when I ran it just the motor without the blades on it, the motor, I think these rotors are fairly out of balance. And I remember when it spun down, it was a point where it would shake a lot. So maybe these just shake a lot. Who knows? So let's see if we can break the 4 nuts. We have 4 screws on the back, screw bolts. Let's see if they break free. Because if they don't, we're not pulling this motor apart. So let's see what happens. All right, so in the next category of right tool for the right job, I bought a huge screwdriver specifically for these screws. And one of the things about a new screwdriver is that a new screwdriver is a very sharp end, and that makes sure that you don't bung up your screw. It doesn't slip out as easily. You really have a good lock. And the other thing, I didn't really know this, but I think it's true. A lot of good screwdrivers will have this here, so you could get a wrench on for leverage as well if you needed to. I'm going to try this standing up, and then sometimes the best way is just to lay the fan down. And you can get a little more pressure downward. But let's see if any of these move here. What I like to do with these, again, just something that I had around. I like to use one of these gears from a bicycle to hold up the motor when I go to unwind. This is so heavy that I like to have it supported so that I don't drop it, because we're still connected here. I couldn't really get these loose. I'm going to give it one more go. Maybe if I do the top one first. All right, so now the wire here is free, and I got these are the clips that go up on the top side. You can't see that, but those are there. All right, here we are with the motor. I'm going to drill this, pop it out. Sometimes there's 2 of these on the earlier fans. We're going to find out. I don't know what Rusty Bob had, which is also a Blue Era GE. I'm going to clean a little dust off. I'm going to go ahead and clean this, and then we'll break into this guy and see what we can find out. And get some of the old oil cleaned out anyway, whatever we can do. So that's the plan. Stay tuned. Okay, next thing to talk about, the plate. How do you get in? What I've been doing is drilling. The way I saw it done initially was you drill straight in and then you use something to pry these plates out. Some of them have 1 plate, some of them have 2. From my experience. Now, Jordan Yu, who has a great channel. If you're not, you should check out Jordan Yu's channel. Shout out to Jordan Yu. I love his channel. He does good stuff. Pretty in-depth, smart guy. He doesn't like drill. What he does is he taps. This is not a nail, but he uses a nail. This is a file. I wouldn't use this. But this is a nail. And what he does is he taps in until he gets enough of an opening to pry open. Or if you were just going to oil, then you could oil through your hole as well. You could do that if you drill it. But the reason being, and I believe that he's fairly accurate on this, that you don't want any filings going into the oiling system. I totally agree with that. What I would say is that when you drill it, the filings are coming out. And as long as you're really careful not to let them fall in and not to let them get in there once you pull everything apart, I think you can do it. I think you're okay. So I'm going to drill, because that's the way I found to work best for me, to get a big enough opening to be able to get something in here to pry these out. That's the only way I know how to do it, so that's how I'm going to you could try the nail. I don't have a good nail on me. I'm not sure. I'd have to search for a while to find one. And then what if there's 2 plates under here? Not just one. So then you got to get through both of them with your nail. I don't know. I see what he's saying, and I honestly think he's right, but I'm still going to drill. Fuck it. What are we going to do? This thing shakes like a bucking bronco anyway, so we're not that worried about this particular one, because we're not 100% sure how it's going to turn out anyway. So let's drill. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to make a little punch mark so that the drill centers. Generally on these, it's hard to get the drill to start. So if I make a little divot, then the drill will center and won't skate from side to side. And I shouldn't have used a file. I broke part of my file, as you probably saw. But at least now we have a little point so that the drill will locate and start and won't skate from side to side and make a pain in the butt there. So there you go. So what I'm doing here is I'm drilling in, and I'm doing my best to remove any metal filings as you go. It does produce a good amount of metal there, and I have Jordan Yu in my head saying, don't drill the filings, you don't want them in there. At this point, I think he's right. And as you'll see later in the video, I actually did find a few filings in on the felt when I was pulling it apart. So obviously he's right, and the next time I do one of these, I'll probably do the nail puncture method and hope for the best. Hopefully I'll get results with that. As you'll see, it's not too difficult to drill this, but you certainly want to avoid getting those filings into the oiling system for the life of the fan. Alright, so that's the deal. So enjoy. Stay tuned. There's a lot more school coming in this video and more on the fan coming up. So stay tuned there. Don't go away. More coming. He's still drilling. He's about done. Now you're through. There you go. Alright, next step, one of the more challenging parts, is prying the plate. Sometimes they come easy, sometimes they don't. I'm using, this screwdriver happens to be just shy of the size of the drill bit. That was on purpose. I'd really rather not break this. This is one of Grandpa's old guys. It says made in the USA on it. How rare is that? So I'd rather not break this, but I don't think it's going to. These are pretty soft, probably pot metal or whatever. So let's see how we do. And one of the things we're mostly trying is to not disturb the wiring and break any wiring and have any other problems we don't want to have. So, here we go. Wants to come out. There we go. And there's our plates. Looks like 1 this time, not 2. And there we go. I'll move your camera angle. Okay, so here's what comes out. We have a big C-shaped felt. We got some dust and stuff here from the paint that was around the motor. So because we don't want any of that stuff to stay in there. Now, in order to get the plate, you really are just sort of bending the plate out of shape. It'll pop out, and then when I'm ready to reassemble all of it, I'm just going to tap it flat with the plastic mallet, and then it'll go back in. So that's how the plate works. And then you pull out your felt. This felt, it's got a little oil in it, and we're going to soak this in WD-40 to get any old oil out. And then we have a C-clip, which is super big deal, and then our other felts and stuff. And look at that. We are finding some little metal filings. So Jordan Yu is right. Maybe we should stop doing that, because that's definitely what those are. So we'll take Jordan Yu's advice. Next time we will not use a drill. Next time we'll try it. I should never buy another fan again. But if we do get another General Electric, we'll try it. We'll try it Jordan's way with a nail. So then what you need to do is you need to get the C-clip out. I use 2 screwdrivers on either side. You can get, this doesn't have the little holes. A lot of C-clips have the little notches and you can use a gun for it, but this doesn't have that. And then we've got a couple of washers and felts down below there that hold it all in place, and we've got these long 4 felts that run all the way down to the front, and that's what cycles the oil back and forth. The shaft has a groove that spirals around it that carries the oil back and forth, or rather forth and not back. I don't know, it depends on which way it's turning, I guess. So that'll be the next thing to do, is to pull that. Now this is quite a long process too. Cleaning this out, you can decide how deep you want to go into it, you know, but I'm just going to keep squishing it out here on our paper towel here and see if we can get the old stuff out. And the WD-40 should help flush the old oil out, you can see. So throw it in there and spray a little more, you know what I mean. And that's it again. Keep that, do that a few times, let it dry out overnight. We won't worry about too much residual because this stuff dries, the WD-40 dries up pretty good. So we're not going to worry too much about it. We're going to try and get some of that old crap out of there. I hope you'll be able to see this. It's a tricky maneuver. It usually takes several tries to get this thing out of here. This little C-clip deal. Okay, it flew out, but we lost it. Where did it go? Okay. Where did it go? Okay, not good. All right, we got to find that thing. We got lucky. We found it. It was on the other side. So there's your C-clip that you got to get out. So that came out first. Second, we have what I lovingly call the tooth washer. This washer has a catch so that it doesn't spin. We have a plastic little washer thing after the tooth. So that's number 3. We have a thicker plastic washer and then a thinner plastic. These are like almost like fiber washers, these ones here. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now the rotor's going to come out. And we'll try not to damage our wiring while we do it. That's a little stiff. Ah, there we go. We got it. Alright, rotor is out. Here you can see the spiral channel for the Earl. I'm going to clean it out, clean it off. Get any dust off the front here. And there you go. We'll take a look inside and see the shape of the bearing, but the shaft looks pretty nice. So there you go. We got another telltale sign of the problems this fan has. This flat washer thing is bent. It is not flat. Indicates this took some serious trauma. I mean, I wonder why that would have happened. We're gonna take a look, I guess. We'll find out. And now you look at the front of the motor. This is where the unit bearing goes in. So the rotor, I'm sure I can show you. The rotor just goes on like this here. From the other side, of course, as you know. So on the front side, we have some other items. We have a little tiny washer like on the back. This is hard to get out usually, and I have broken it in the past, which I'd rather not do. See if it'll lift out of there. Yeah, okay. So I'm not seeing that, and I'm seeing something else I don't like. This housing is bent as well. See this? So we have a problem here, Houston. Houston, we've got a problem, right? Have you got one? Right. So we have a bit of an issue there too. So I think that this whole thing is probably pretty fakakta. I'm not going to break this trying to get it out, but it would be nice if it'd come out, because then I could clean this. There's another felt in here, but that doesn't want to come out. There's a felt underneath that as well. So yeah, we've got we got some problems on this old machine here, and maybe everything's fine because that's just a washer and this is just this housing, which it shouldn't ride against at all. But that doesn't mean that the shaft A isn't bent, or maybe the blades, the whole blade hub could be totally out of whack. We're going to get it back together before we panic too much. But we definitely see a lot of evidence that this fan took some damage. So more than we usually see, especially on a General Electric. So interesting to see. Nice cosmetic condition, but maybe took some damage. So we'll see what happens. All right, so not for nothing, but the bearing actually looks pretty good. So who knows what's going to happen with this. We'll oil her all up once the felts are dried out from the WD-40 as best we can. Specifically this guy, our C felt. I want to make sure that the WD-40 is gone once we put oil on it. And then I oil down these things. Try not to over oil, but you want to get oil on it, so that's our deal. So we'll be back. We're kind of close to just getting, we really just need to get to the point where we can turn it on and see how out of balance, see if it's the rotor that's really out of balance, if it's the blades that are really out of balance, or everything. And that's what we're going to find out. Hopefully we were able to fix the issue and we get a nice runner out of it. Who knows? So this one, quite an interesting scene. So thanks for watching. We'll come back for a next video for the reassemble of the motor. This has just been the deconstruction part. So thanks for watching. All right, GE.